Now the two angels came to Sodom at evening, and Lot was sitting beside the gate of Sodom. And when Lot saw them, he rose to meet them, and did obeisance with his face upon the ground, and said, Hear, lords, turn aside to your servant's house, and find lodging, and wash your feet, and when you have risen early, you will depart on your way. They, however, said, No, but we will find lodging in the street. And he kept constraining them, and they turned aside to him, and entered into his dwelling. And he made them a feast, and baked them unleavened loaves, and they ate before they lay down. And the men of the city, the Sodomites, from young man to elder, all the people together, encircled the dwelling. And they were summoning Lot, and were saying to him, Where are the men who came into you tonight? Bring them out to us, in order that we may have relations with them. And Lot went out to the doorway to them, but he shut the door after him. And he said to them, By no means, brothers, do not act wickedly. Now I have 2 daughters who have not known a man. I shall bring them out to you, and use them as it may please you. Only do not do anything unjust to these men, inasmuch as they have come in under the shelter of my beams. But they said, Stand away from there. As one you came to reside as an alien, surely not also to pass judgment. So now we will maltreat you rather than them. And they were pressing the man Lot very hard, and came near to smash the door. But the men, extending their hands, drew Lot into the house to themselves, and shut the door of the house. And they struck with blindness the men who were at the door of the house, from small to great, and they became exhausted searching for the door. Then the men said to Lot, Have you anyone here, sons-in-law, or sons or daughters? Or if you have anyone else in the city, bring that one out to this place. For we are about to destroy this place, because the outcry concerning them has been raised before the Lord, and the Lord has sent us to annihilate it. Then Lot went out and spoke to his sons-in-law, who had married his daughters, and said, Rise and get out of this place, for the Lord is about to annihilate the city. But he seemed before his sons-in-law to be jesting. Now when dawn was breaking, the angels were urging Lot, saying, Rise, take your wife and the 2 daughters whom you have, and get out, lest you also be destroyed together with the lawlessness of the city. And they were confounded, and the angels seized his hand and his wife's hand, and his 2 daughters' hands, as the Lord spared him. And it came about, when they had brought them outside, that they said, In saving, save your own soul. Do not look around backwards, or stop in the whole region round about. Get safely to the mountain, that you not be included. But Lot said to them, I pray, Lord, since your servant has found mercy before you, and you have magnified your righteousness, that which you bring about with regard to me, to quicken my soul. But I shall not be able to proceed safely to the mountain, for fear the disasters overtake me and I die. Look, this city which is small is near enough for me to flee for refuge there. I shall escape there. Is it not small? And my soul will live. And he said to him, Look, I have indulged your person also in reference to this matter, not to overthrow the city concerning which you have spoken. So hurry to escape there, for I shall not be able to do a thing until you enter there. Therefore he called the name of the city Segor. The sun came out on the earth, and Lot entered into Segor. And the Lord rained on Sodom and Gomorrah sulfur and fire from the Lord out of heaven. And he overthrew these cities, and all the neighboring region, and all the inhabitants in the cities, and all the things that grow up out of the earth. And his wife gazed backwards, and she became a stele of salt. And Abraham started early in the morning for the place where he had stood before the Lord. And he gazed upon the face of Sodom and Gomorrah, and upon the face of the land of the region round about, and saw, and see, the flame of the land was going up like the vapor of a furnace. And it came about, when God annihilated all the cities of the neighboring region, that God remembered Abraham, and sent Lot out of the midst of the overthrow, when the Lord overthrew the cities which Lot used to dwell in. Now Lot went up out of Segor, and settled in the mountain, and his 2 daughters with him, for he was afraid to dwell in Segor. And he lived in the cave, he and his 2 daughters with him. Now the elder said to the younger, Our father is elderly, and there is no one on the earth who will come into us, as is fitting in all the world. Come, and let us give our father wine to drink, and let us lie with him, and raise up offspring from our father. And they gave their father wine to drink on this night, and the elder, when she had gone in, lay with her father that night, and he did not know when she lay down and got up. And it came about on the next day, that then the elder said to the younger, Look, I lay yesterday with our father. Let us give him wine to drink this night also, and when you have gone in, lie with him, and let us raise up offspring from our father. And they gave their father wine to drink on that night also. And the younger, when she had gone in, lay with her father, and he did not know when she lay down and got up. And the 2 daughters of Lot became pregnant by their father. And the elder bore a son, and called his name Moab, from my father. He is the ancestor of the Moabites to the present day. And the younger bore a son too, and called his name Ammon, son of my race. He is the ancestor of the Ammonites to the present day. And from there Abraham moved to the land toward the southwest, and lived between Kadesh and between Sour, and resided in Gerar as an alien. And Abraham said of his wife Sarah, She is my sister, for he was afraid to say, She is my wife, lest perhaps the men of the city kill him on her account. Then Abimelech king of Gerar sent and took Sarah. And God came in to Abimelech in his sleep during the night, and said, Look, you are about to die by reason of the woman whom you have taken, whereas she is married to a man. Now Abimelech had not touched her, and he said, Lord, will you destroy an unwitting and righteous nation? Did not he himself say to me, She is my sister? And she herself said to me, He is my brother. I did this with a pure heart and righteousness of hands. Then God said to him during his sleep, I too knew that you did this with a pure heart, and I was the one who spared you, so that you did not sin in regard to me. Therefore I did not allow you to touch her. And now return the woman to the man, for he is a prophet, and he will pray for you, and you will live. If, however, you do not restore her, know that you shall die, you and all that are yours. And Abimelech rose early in the morning, and called all his servants, and spoke of all these matters in their hearing. Then all the men were very much afraid. And Abimelech called Abraham and said to him, What is this you have done to us? Surely we have not committed some sin in regard to you, that you have brought great sin on me and on my kingdom. You have done a deed to me that no one shall do. And Abimelech said to Abraham, What did you observe that you did this? And Abraham said, Because I said, It appears there is no piety in this place, and so they will kill me because of my wife. For indeed she is truly my sister by my father, but not by my mother, and she became a wife to me. Now it came about, when God brought me forth from my father's house, that then I said to her, This righteousness you shall do for me. In every place, there where we enter, say about me, He is my brother. Then Abimelech took 1,000 drachmas, sheep and calves and male and female slaves, and gave them to Abraham, and restored his wife Sarah to him. And Abimelech said to Abraham, Look, my land is before you, settle where it may please you. And to Sarah he said, Look, I have given your brother 1,000 drachmas. These shall be to you for the honor of your person, and to all those with you, and tell the whole truth. Then Abraham prayed to God, and God healed Abimelech and his wife and his female slaves, and they gave birth. For the Lord had, in shutting off, shut from the outside every womb in the house of Abimelech, because of Sarah, Abraham's wife. And the Lord visited Sarah as he had said, and the Lord did for Sarah as he had spoken. And when Sarah had conceived, she bore Abraham a son in his old age at the appointed time, as the Lord had spoken to him. And Abraham called the name of his son who was born to him, whom Sarah bore him, Isaac. And Abraham circumcised Isaac on the 8th day, as God had commanded him. Now Abraham was 100 years of age when his son Isaac was born to him. And Sarah said, The Lord has made laughter for me, for anyone who hears will congratulate me. And she said, Who will report to Abraham that Sarah is nursing a child? For I have borne a son in my old age. And the child grew and was weaned, and Abraham made a great banquet on the day his son Isaac was weaned. But when Sarah saw the son of Hagar the Egyptian, who had been born to Abraham, playing with her son Isaac, then she said to Abraham, Cast out this slave girl and her son, for the son of this slave girl shall not inherit together with my son Isaac. Now the matter seemed very hard in the sight of Abraham on account of his son. But God said to Abraham, Do not let the matter be hard in your sight on account of the child, and on account of the slave girl. Whatever Sarah says to you, obey her voice. For in Isaac offspring shall be named for you. And as for the son of the slave girl, I will make him also into a great nation, because he is your offspring. Then Abraham rose in the morning, and took bread loaves and a skin of water, and gave them to Hagar, and put them on her shoulder, along with the child, and sent her away. And when she departed, she began wandering about the wilderness, over against the well of the oath. Then the water from the skin gave out, and she cast the child under a silver fir. And after departing, she sat down opposite him a good way off, about a bowshot. For she said, I will not look upon the death of my child. And she was seated opposite him, and the child cried out and wept. And God listened to the voice of the child from the place where he was. And God's angel called Hagar from heaven and said to her, What is it, Hagar? Do not be afraid, for God has given ear to the voice of your child from the place where he is. Rise, take the child, and hold it fast with your hand, for I will make him into a great nation. And God opened her eyes, and she saw a well of living water. And she went and filled the skin with water, and gave the child a drink. And God was with the child, and he grew up. And he dwelt in the wilderness, and became an archer. And he dwelt in the wilderness of Paran. And his mother got a wife for him from the land of Egypt. And it came about at that time, that then Abimelech, with Ochazath his groomsman, and Phicol the commander-in-chief of his army, spoke to Abraham, saying, God is with you in everything that you do. Now then swear to me by God that you will not injure me, nor my offspring, nor my name. But according to the righteousness with which I have dealt with you, you will deal with me in the land that you have resided in as an alien. And Abraham said, I will swear. And Abraham rebuked Abimelech on account of the wells of water that Abimelech's servants had taken away. And Abimelech said to him, I did not know who did this deed, neither did you tell me, nor did I hear, except today. And Abraham took sheep and calves and gave them to Abimelech, and both made a covenant. And Abraham made 7 ewe lambs of the sheep stand alone. And Abimelech said to Abraham, Why are there the 7 ewe lambs of these sheep that you have made stand alone? And Abraham said, Because these 7 ewe lambs you shall receive from me, in order that they may become a witness for me, that I am the one who dug this well. Therefore he named the name of that place, Well of Adjuration, because there both swore an oath. And they made a covenant at the well of the adjuration. Then Abimelech, and Ochazath his groomsman, and Phicol the commander-in-chief of his army, rose and returned to the land of the Philistines. And Abraham planted a plowed field by the well of the oath, and there invoked the name of the Lord, everlasting God. And Abraham resided as an alien many days in the land of the Philistines. And it came about after these matters that God tested Abraham, and said to him, Abraham, Abraham. And he said, Here I am. And he said, Take your beloved son Isaac, whom you love, and go into the high land, and offer him as a whole burnt offering on one of the mountains, whichever I mention to you. And when Abraham had risen in the morning, he saddled his donkey. Now he took along with himself 2 servants and his son Isaac. And after he had split wood for a whole burnt offering and risen, he went and came to the place that God had mentioned to him, on the 3rd day. And when Abraham looked up with his eyes, he saw the place far away. Then Abraham said to his servants, Sit right here with the donkey, and the youngster and I will go through hither, and after we have done obeisance, we will come back to you. And Abraham took the wood of the whole burnt offering, and laid it on his son Isaac. Then he took both the fire and the knife in hand, and the 2 walked on together. And Isaac spoke to his father Abraham, when he had said, Father, and he had said, What is it, child? Saying, Look the fire and the wood, where is the sheep for a whole burnt offering? And Abraham said, God will see to a sheep as a whole burnt offering for himself, child. And as both walked on together, they came to the place that God had mentioned to him. And Abraham built the altar there, and laid on the wood. And when he had bound his son Isaac hand and foot, he laid him on the altar atop the wood. And Abraham reached out his hand to take the knife to slay his son. And the Lord's angel called him from heaven and said to him, Abraham, Abraham. And he said, Here I am. And he said, Do not lay your hand on the youngster, nor do anything to him. For now I know that you do fear God, and for my sake you have not spared your beloved son. And as Abraham looked up with his eyes, he saw, and see, a ram held fast in a sabek plant by the horns. And Abraham went and took the ram, and offered it up as a whole burnt offering instead of his son Isaac. And Abraham called the name of that place, The Lord Saw, that they might say today, On the mountain the Lord appeared. And the Lord's angel called Abraham a second time from heaven, saying, By myself I have sworn, says the Lord, inasmuch as you have carried out this matter, and for my sake have not spared your beloved son, I will indeed bless you with blessings, and I will make your offspring as numerously numerous as the stars of heaven, and as the sand that is by the seashore. And your offspring shall possess the cities of their adversaries. And in your offspring shall all the nations of the earth be blessed, because you have obeyed my voice. Then Abraham returned to his servants, and when they had risen, they went together to the well of the oath, and Abraham lived at the well of the oath. Now it came about after these matters, that then it was told Abraham, they were saying, See Milcah, she too has borne sons to your brother Nahor, Ox the firstborn, and Baux his brother, and Camuel the ancestor of the Syrians, and Kasad, and Hazau, and Faldas, and Yedlaph, and Bathuel. And Bathuel became the father of Rebekah. These were 8 sons whom Milcah bore to Nahor, Abraham's brother. And as for his concubine, whose name was Reumah, she too bore Gaam, and Tabek, and Tokas, and Mokah.